Hi everyone, it's been a long time since I did this kind of video, but Evie's in daycare today and an article came up, so I figured why not? I've got loads of housework to do, finish tidying the basement, some articles to write, I've got to fix the patio door, but why not procrastinate and make a video for you, you awesome folks on the other end of the camera? So yeah. Let's get into an initial impressions of the Xi class White Shuttle. So, if we take a look at Out of the Ashes article that came up today, we have a nice little ship, nowhere near as imposing as the Batwing Devil, the Upsilon. It doesn't look anywhere near as intimidating. And to be honest, it's not really a ship that excites me that much. It's a lot of the upgrade cards in it, but I've pre-ordered at least one of them. I'm 9% sure I've only pre-ordered one. I don't know if I'll pick up a second, but at the moment, I'm excited to get my hands on some of it. So obviously we have a normal chuff and fluff, just filler for the article, talking about what's in the pack, where it comes from. Then we get the dial. So it doesn't have the hard ones, but it's not as bad. It's got blue on the one banks and one straight. The hard twos are blue, which is good. We don't want it to be too restrictive. More blue. It's got all the threes, can do a four, and then it's got a stop. So not a terrible dial. Gonna suffer from the same thing the Upswan does with kind of trying to turn around and stay in the fight, especially as it doesn't have the rear arc that something like the Lambda does. But honestly, there's a lot of support cards in First Order that don't really see play because they don't have a platform. Well, if you're going to take an Upswan, you probably want it to be contributing to a fight. So I'm hoping that this ship gives us the options to be a pure support ship for the faction. It's something I think they've been lacking. And getting into them, the first card they talk about is Commander Malorus, obviously an FO pilot that we have already from the Poe Dameron comics, I think. And yeah, it's equipped this side up. I think we've seen this one before, but if you've not been listening to a podcast and are just kind of catching up on YouTube, we'll go through with while a friendly non-limited ship at range 0 to 1 performs a primary attack, that ship may reroll one blank result. If it does and the attack does not hit, you must flip the card. So essentially, it's a free reroll for ships that are at 0 to 1. You can stack it multiple times, so it's going to be really good against yeah, it's going to be really good against stuff where you know you're going to hit. Because I really like this ability as a force multiplier. Once you get it flipped over, it's not really as appealing at all. Which, while you perform an attack, if the defender is in your bullseye arc, you must convert all focus results to hit results and gain one stress token. Then, if you have two or more stress tokens, suffer one damage. So, um, I, I, if she's going to be on this ship, I'm thinking that this side is mostly going to be a blank ability. It's a 2-die attack ship. If you're having to attack in the bullseye to trigger it. So, I mean, yeah, it's nice. You must convert all your focus results. So you she makes your offense better. And let's be honest, you shouldn't really be carrying too much stress. I mean, I suppose it can let you do a hard three in the stop and still have a modded attack, but I wouldn't be too worried about damaging myself. It's a nice little perk, but nothing that I wouldn't be trying to flip this card. Is I suppose my a long-winded way of getting to what I'm trying to say. Um, so I don't know how often I'd be using Malorus's Malorus eyes. I don't know how much I'd be using her ability, but I definitely like it in like one of the swarmy type lists, especially if this is coming in cheaper in an upsilon, so you can get some real support in there. We have a look at Commander Power, which we've seen already as well. Setup, after placing forces, choose an enemy ship. It gains 2 stress tokens. While you defend, if an attacker is stressed, you may reroll 1 defense die. This is another one I really liked, actually. More for the control aspect of placing stress on an opponent's ship before the round even starts, and just getting to kind of pounce on that opponent that you're really going to be gunning for early. Then we have Agent Trex, which was another one that actually really excited me when I saw this side of the card. When you set it up, you place 3 calculate tokens on the card. Then at the start of the engagement phase, you may choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 3 and remove 1 calculate token and assign it to the one of the ships that you picked, basically. Then once you run out, you flip the card, but it's effectively three free calculate tokens throughout the game. God, I can't speak today. Tell it's been a while since I've done this kind of stuff. The other side of a the other side of a card is pretty good as well. So I'm not overly worried about flipping this card. During the system phase, you roll 1 attack die. On a hit or a crit result, gain a calculate, otherwise gain a jam. So it's a 50-50 chance of getting a calculate or a jam token. And then you have an action to transfer the token. And it's any ship this time. So it's hard to plan around because it's a random chance in the system phase. But depending on the way you're playing the ship, once it's in combat, I feel like I wouldn't be overly worried. You've already locked your dial in, so you're either going to get a calculate token or you're going to get a range 0 to 3 jam action effectively, because you can throw the token out to someone at range 3. So I really like it because jam's normally a much shorter range. So you can kind of have him just plonking around the side of a table, doing the old toilet bowl circle, and still affect the game. But then if you get calculates, it's wasted. So again, it's hard to plan around with any degree of certainty, but certainly something that I'm excited to put on a table, because that first effect is really, really good. And then the second one isn't necessarily bad. So yeah. And then it talks about being able to put illicits on and then swap them around. Yeah, it's nice. Nothing I really want to go into until we can get like full points for everything and do some actual squad building. Then we have Commander Malrus as a pilot. While a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 performs a primary attack, if it has 1 or more blank results, that ship must gain a strain token to reroll 1 blank result if able. So again, initiative 5, range 0 to 2, so not overly restrictive on the range. And it's effectively a gain a strain for a reroll on blanks. So if you're going to have your focus and your reroll and everything, lots of this stuff is making that TIE FO mini swarm just feel a lot more appealing. And I it's hard because I kind of like that archetype of having an ace with a mini swarm, but having this support ship and maybe a slightly larger swarm could be something to look at. Gideon Hask, this one I'm really not surprised to see, but I really like what this one does. So initiative 4, I suppose I should cover the start line 2, 2, 5, and 2. So 2 agility makes it probably a decent chunk of survivability, almost like X-Wing levels. And then the ability on Gideon is, again, range 0 to 2, small ship. When it performs an attack, if you roll 2 or fewer attack die, it may gain a strain token to roll 1 additional attack die, which is awesome. If it's attacking a damaged defender. So you just pile on and finish off targets, which generally is how you want to play anyway, especially if you're flying a swarmy list. So it's his old Imperial TIE fighter ability, but now spread across your entire swarm. So as a force multiplier, I think this was really, really good. Wouldn't surprise me if Gideon comes in at the most expensive of the pilots here, because I just think that's really, really good. And yeah, I'm excited for it. Then the generic, yes, Initiative 2, First Order Courier, no real text, blah blah blah. The First Order works in many bases hidden in shadowy corners of the galaxy, slowly spreading its insidious influence. Yeah, whatever. Just give us an ability, that's all we care about. That's the text we like to read. But no, this is probably going to really depend on what other ships you can fit in around it, so the points value for this platform. But if it's like a Snoke carrier now, have this just flying Snoke around and maybe some aces and could be pretty interesting there, but hard to commit, shall we say, without points. Then we have some of the new tech. This I really like. Initiative 3 or lower, so again, it's going to go on your swarmy type builds. While you perform an attack, you must choose a defender at the closest valid attack range, which I feel like you might want to do more often than not anyway. Certainly, you can play around it to make it a bad restriction, but that's like having agency in the game is never a bad thing. But I feel like you probably want to point and shoot at something at range one of you. After you perform an attack that missed, place one calculate token on this card. Before you engage, you may remove one calculate token from this card to gain a matching token. So it's on the calculate token is placed on the card, so which means if you have a last ship to shoot, it should carry over into the next phase because it's the ships that clean up the tokens, not the cards. So that I'm pretty sure that that's how this works. I mean, I'd be missing something pretty big that I've not really kept up on. So I'm relatively certain that even if you have a last ship to fire, this keeps up. And then before you engage, you may remove one calculate token from this card to gain a matching token. So it just adds a little bit of consistency after that initial engagement. You don't get to do anything to aid anyone else, nothing like that. But you, if you're just gonna keep like blasting away, I feel like it's good. Nothing wrong with it. Hopefully, it's not too expensive, but we'll see. The Sensor Boy suite. Before placing forces, place 2 Sensor Boy remotes beyond range 2 of any edge. Before you engage, you may acquire a lock on a ship at range 0 to 1 of a friendly Sensor Boy, ignoring range restrictions. So you get to deploy tokens on the field. I imagine it's going to be similar to like the Dark Eye Probe Droid kind of things. And just let you establish locks. Maybe have some play in the like the SF kind of lists and stuff like that. But again, not 100% until we see points values and what missiles we're going to be putting on ships that need the target locks. I'm not overly convinced that it's needed, but definitely I'm excited for this automated targeting priority. Seems interesting. And yeah, and that's it. Like I said, I've already pre-ordered one. Nothing in this article is making me feel like I need to get two. Oh, unless the points on automated targeting priority are like stupidly cheap, and I really need like 3 or 4 of them, then I'll probably have to get two. But we'll see. I'm not massively excited to get everything for it, but there's a few like real standout pieces that will look interesting. So let me know what you think. Are you going to try and field a swarm of these to support some Upsilons, or are you going to go like the old Palp Shuttle, see if you can get Snoke in there and like make your wealth of Initiative 5 ships have perfect information with Snoke? Because I think that could have some play. You could probably get a decent Kylo and Bonreg with this guy and Snoke, do some fun stuff there. But yeah, I'm interested to see what playstyle develops from this once you First Order get it. So let me know what you folks are all thinking, and make sure if you like the content, give us a like on the video, subscribe to a channel because we're like dipping a little bit now. I should probably make content if I want people to watch it. You know, I get it. It's really as simple as that, isn't it? If I make the content, it's there for people to watch. Who knew? And yeah, if you would like to support me on Patreon, you can. There is a Dice Hate Patreon, which just goes directly to funding this kind of content. And if you do enjoy the podcast format for lack of focus, that has its own Patreon page where you can go and support it by each episode. And yeah, that's it, folks. Nothing too special. Like I say, it's been a while since I did this kind of content. I just wanted to get it done, and hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.